Hello, 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 lovely people. How are you today? It's Yvonne here. Let me know if you're here live, joining me in the comments box, and if you are watching the replay, do hashtag replay. So Facebook just pops up all kinds of messages for me, asking me to close other things down, which I have. So anyway, it's Tuesday, April 26th, 2022, and 6 o'clock UK time, 7 o'clock Europe, 10 a.m. Pacific, and 1 p.m. Eastern. And the title of today's live stream, this conversation, is called How to Double Your Rates in These Challenging Times, shall we say. So, first of all, a little bit of housekeeping. I've got some notes here. I'm going to be looking at my notes, so if I'm looking down, it's because I don't want to miss anything. So I have to give myself some notes to make sure that I don't miss any points that I want to cover, so you get the most out of the live stream. Secondly, if you're watching live, then let me know in the comments so I can say hello. And if you are watching on the replay, then just do hashtag replay. All right, so let's get straight into it. How to raise your rates in a challenging times. Oops, I don't want that. Let's get that out of the way and that out of the way. Okay, how to raise your rates in challenging times. How to double your rates even in challenging times. And I say this because two of my recent clients have just doubled their rates, and I wanted to share with you just how they did this despite local competition, and one of them owning their business for many, many years. So it wasn't something that they just kind of did straight off the bat when they took over the business. Maybe, you know, you're thinking it was a distressed business, but it wasn't. This was a long time established business, and they just decided to raise their rates. So what do you feel that it would take for you to raise your rates considerably, or even double them right now? What do you think it would take? Let me know in the comments if you have any insights into that. Because in my experience, it takes two things, basically, two main things, two elements to increasing your rates. The first one is the practical side of it, right, which we're going to go through in a minute. And the second thing is what I call the energetics of. Now, on the practical side, here's how do you know that your rates will stand an increase? How do you know that, right? Here's some clues. If you are booked solid on all your most popular weeks or weekends this season already, you probably need to raise your rates. If you've been saying to yourself, or if you've ever said to yourself, do you know what, I could have filled my rooms 10 times over last weekend, yeah, that's a clue. That's a clue that you can raise your rates considerably. If you're turning people away because you're full all the time, that's another clue. And if you're being described as, you know, in your reviews as the cheapest, the best value, and people are saying things like this, it was great value, really good price, she gave us a discount or he gave us a discount, those are all clues that you're too cheap, that you need to raise your rates. So let me ask you this. How would you rate currently the quality of your guests, right? Are they the right kind of people for your establishment? Do you feel that they are? And do you feel maybe that you're already undercharging for the great hospitality that you offer? Another question, have you done the numbers on what you're currently charging, and is it worth your while? Are you making enough money? Seriously, you work hard and you give great service, and you want to make sure that you're getting properly compensated for that. And again, in my experience, most people are undercharging for the value of the hospitality that they deliver, because they tend to get caught up in the size of the room, you know, the view out of the window and what they're making for breakfast and, you know, the state of the bathroom. They tend to be charging only on those things. And it isn't just about those things, which I'm going to come to in a second, okay? Are you discounting for things like single occupancy or children, or not charging for pets, or, you know, doing deals with people on a regular basis that you don't really feel 100% good about? And how would you, you know, rate yourself professionally as an owner? Are you a seasoned owner? Are you a newbie? Are you still trying to find your feet? Are you trying to, you know, are you still learning? Do you feel that you need more experience before you can raise your rates? And that's all good, right? There isn't any right or wrong to this, to these questions, okay? So I'm just going to come to the comments. Hello, Elise, good evening. Hello, Joanne. Hello, Belinda. Hello, Catherine. Hello. Okay, so let's move on quickly to the next part, right? And the next part is that, you know, if you've answered, you know, do you feel like you're already undercharging, then there's some digging deeper to do on this, right? First of all, let's look at the energetics, right? How do you know your rates need to be increased? Apart from the practical side of it, where you're getting overbooked, or your people are reviewing you and calling you cheap or good value or stuff like that. How do you know your net rates need to be increased on the energetic level? First, if you're feeling resentful around your guests and their demands, you probably need to increase your rates so that you're better compensated for what you do. If you feel at any time that you're worthless or disrespected by your guests and or family members, then you probably need to work on your own value, how you see yourself. If you're feeling tired, exhausted and burned out, that's a clue that you're out of alignment with your business and you are not charging enough for the value you bring. And because when your rates are too low, you'll find yourself in competition with other properties. And nobody wants to be in competition with other properties, because the truth is you are so unique anyway that you don't need to be in competition. And what I would encourage you to do is to put your blinkers on, if you like, so that you're not looking at anybody else in your locale. You're not looking at what anybody else is doing. You're definitely not having conversations around, you know, how much are you charging, or do you think I could raise my rates? Because those people, they won't help you on this, right? This is like an inside job, if you like. It's like you need to work on yourself, on the energetics of what you're offering. Because the truth is there are customers for every price point, right? There are customers for low price points, and low price points will attract low value customers, low value guests, who will be, you know, penny pinching and trying to get deals, trying to knock your prices down, trying to get something for nothing, you know, not honouring your boundaries, not honouring your check-in times or your check-out times, you know, wanting extra special treatment. We've all had those, right? I'm sure you can relate to this. High price points, on the other hand, attract high value guests that respect you, that don't want special treatment, are willing to pay, and they don't need anything for nothing. They're willing to pay for extras that you offer, and they're willing to pay top price for what you offer, even though the price has gone up and they know it. High value guests won't quibble about your prices, but low value guests will do. So when you're priced too low, you're going to be in the competition with everyone else who's trying to beat the market, charge less, you know, especially if you're on online booking sites. That's just a price war, really. So the way to, you know, double your rates or increase them, you know, considerably, is to raise your perceived value of yourself, because that allows you to feel more valuable within yourself. As I say, it's an inside job. So let me ask you this: what assumptions are you making or projecting onto your guests about what they will and won't pay for? What assumptions are you making about your guests and projecting onto your guests about what they will and won't pay for? If you are somebody who habitually is always unwilling to pay full price for anything, or is always looking for a bargain yourself, you might be assuming that everybody's like that. I know that's what we do, right? You might assume that everyone's like you, but they aren't. You might be assuming, if you're somebody who would, never pay for a luxury vacation or a luxury car or a luxury piece of furniture or some artwork or something like that, if you never buy that kind of thing, you might be assuming that everybody's like that, when in fact that's not true, because everyone's different, right? There's no right or wrong here. It's just that the assumptions that we make about ourselves, we sometimes project onto other people, onto our guests, and then we make judgments on that. Well, I would never pay that, so therefore I can't charge it. Not true, okay? When you raise your own perceived value inside of you, you increase your self-belief, and you stand proud in what you offer, you can raise your rates. And the chances of you undercharging are quite high at this point, because I've seen it a lot, okay? So have you put like an invisible upper limit on what you think you're worth, or what you think your property's worth, or what you think your rooms are worth, or what you think your hospitality, your specific blend of hospitality, your specific brand of hospitality, have you put an invisible upper limit on that? Let me check the comments to see what you're saying before I move on. Okay, all right. We go up here. Hello, Bill Walsh. Hello, Rosemary from the Isle of Man. Hello, if I haven't said hello to you already, then hello. I'm just checking the comments. I mean, what do you think? Do you think there is an invisible upper limit on what you're currently charging right now, or do you think that you've got it about right and you're not in the market for raising your rates? If you're looking at this live stream, I'm sure that you are wondering how you can. Okay. All right, let's move on to more of the kind of inner work, if you like, the energetics of doubling your rates or increasing your rates considerably. Professional hosting, which you are, I'm sure you're a professional at hosting, demands professional rates, not discounted or cheap. Okay, professional hosting demands professional rates, not discounted or cheap. Self-belief, what you say about yourself, how you think about yourself, plays a huge part in how other people perceive you. You must believe in yourself and your product. And if you are spending time doing the cleaning, and you see yourself as like a person who does everything, and who is often, cleaning the toilets and making the beds and doing the laundry, you will have a self-image of someone who does that kind of work, right? Intrinsically, like it's like unconscious. And guests will sense that. Even though you turn up with a big smile and your hair all done and your nice clothes on, if there's any hint in your subconscious belief system that actually I'm a cleaner and I'm really good at cleaning, then your guests are going to pick up on that. It's very subtle, but they will. They won't see you as a professional host. They'll see you on some level as a cleaner, and they will respond to that. And it's all unconscious. It's not like they're making any conscious decision about that. It's not something they're saying to themselves in their heads, but it's all like energetics, basically. So self-belief is going to play a huge part in how you're perceived by your guests. So you must increase your own intrinsic value, your belief in yourself, and your product, what you offer at your B&B. Work on that, because you need to be slightly out of your comfort zone to grow, right? To grow into the person who doubles their rates or increases them considerably. I'm saying double as like loosely. It creates like a tension within yourself, and you have to be able to sit with that tension, to be able to handle that tension until your subconscious mind catches up with itself. So, okay, this is who I am now, right? I used to be this person who did a bit of cleaning, who did a bit of laundry, was a jack of all trades. Sometimes you find me in my pinny, and sometimes you find me with my wellies on doing the yard work, and sometimes you find me folding laundry, you know. So you were that person before, but if you want to increase your rates, apart from the practical stuff I've given you, you need to be working on the self-image, right? I'm not that person anymore. It's like getting yourself into alignment with a new level of rates that you feel a little bit uncomfortable charging in the beginning, but as the tension is held by, you hold the tension of that because it's slightly outside of your comfort zone. It's like an elastic band, right, that stretches. And you can either let it go and it will ping back to its original shape, or if you stretch it long enough, it will stay in its new shape. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when the tension, where the tension happens, which provides the opportunity for growth. So you grow into the person who charges this amount now without any justification whatsoever. Just an example for this. Okay, so as I said at the beginning, 2 of my clients have doubled their rates since working with us. One of them was, trolling along doing, X amount per month, and then working with us in the first month, they doubled their rates and they made 3 times their usual monthly amount. Okay, so it's not just about doubling; it's the perceived value that comes with it that is very, very important to work on. So, and holding yourself to those new rates without any justification. So one guest came in, okay, he reported this on one of our coaching calls, and he said, a guest came in, phoned up, one guest phoned up, and he wanted to book a room, this guest, and our client said, oh yes, that'll be this price. And the guest said, the past guest said, oh, that's a lot more than last time I booked. And our client said, yes, it is. And then held the space, right? Left that void, and then the past guest said, oh, that's fine then, I'll book 2 nights in. Do you see how that works? There's tension there between you being able to say, this is my new rate, and guest's response, and you don't need to fill that hole with justifications about why your price is higher and about the cost of living and about the price of energy. You don't need to justify anything when you can hold the tension within yourself. And then they will make a decision on whether to book with you at your new rates or not. Because the truth is, like I said earlier, there are customers for every price point, so that the people who used to pay the old price may choose to go elsewhere, and that's absolutely fine. But what you'll find is that new guests who would never pay your lower rate before because they have assumptions about what your lower rate means to them, and it could mean that, you're too cheap and therefore you're no good. But that's not true, but that's their assumption, right? So when you raise your rates, those people up here, as opposed to these people down here, will be more likely to make an inquiry and book with you because your new rates correspond to their perceived value of what they're prepared to pay about themselves, about you, and about your property. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense, right? Just give me a yes or no. Okay, let me see here. Okay, let me see what you're saying. Okay, Belinda. I'm ready to raise mine again. How much of an increase at once is the question? Okay, Belinda, that's a great question. And the truth of the matter is we don't know. We just don't know. But all you can do is raise it until it's slightly outside of your comfort zone. So there's a bit of tension, but not too much that makes you feel like a fraud. You don't want to be feeling like a fraud, right? But just a little bit outside of your comfort zone so that you can kind of grow into, right? We used to charge this and now we're charging this, and I am a person who charges this now. And when I was charging this, I was a slightly different version of myself. Make sense? And you can then incrementally increase your prices. I did this in my own business 3 times in one season. And you know what? No one noticed. You'd be amazed at what people will pay for. Happily. You'd be amazed. Okay. But it's a great question, and I'm glad you brought it up. How much can I raise my rates? You don't know. You don't know what your guests will bear, and you don't know what the market will bear, and you just don't know how much you can stand, right? How much tension you can stand. Right, Lisa, your rates reflect your guests, and your guests reflect your rates as well. And your rates reflect you as well, and what you offer. So it's very important that you are able to sit with the tension, if you like. It's like stepping into yourself as the king or queen of your domain energetically, so that your guests feel it. And that's part of the tension holding that I was just talking about. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need permission to do this. You can do it anytime you want to. And notice the resistance that comes up inside of you when you think about raising your rates considerably. Just notice the tension, right? Because that's coming up again. That tension is giving you a clue to your beliefs and your assumptions, right? And they are just beliefs and assumptions, right? Okay, Bill, should we be concerned with how much others in the area are charging? No, absolutely not. In fact, as I said at the beginning, put your blinkers on. Don't look at what anybody else is doing, anybody else is charging. Just don't look. Catherine. As I listened to this video, I just increased the price of my smaller room by €10 for July and August. It was an easy decision. I love that. That's wonderful. Well done. Who else can do that right now? Who else is willing to do that right now? It's just a change in your booking system, right? Who else is willing to go all out on a limb and just go and adjust their prices right now? Karen, I'm in an area where B&Bs are very cheap. I'm the most expensive already, but it's still not enough to make a living. Aha! I got the others to raise the price, but still 200 kilometers? Do you mean 200 krona? You're in Sweden, right? Right. Right. Yeah. If it's not enough to make a living, Karen, then ask yourself, like I said in the beginning, with the practical steps, why are you doing it, right? You've got to raise your rates in order to make it worth your while. Otherwise, you're just working for nothing, and nobody wants to work for nothing, right? Nobody wants to do that. Belinda, what you said? oh, Danish kroner. Sorry, Karen. Yeah, you're in Denmark, right? Yeah, go ahead and do it. Belinda, to reinforce, I can't keep up now. To reinforce what you're saying, my channel manager settings increase the rates to an OTA by 15% above mine. Yeah. And guests book through them without any hesitation. Et voila, right? I'm raising mine 15% right now. Good for you, girl. Good for you. Right? There are clues here. There are clues here on the practical aspect of it. It's the energetics that we struggle with, right? Because we have our beliefs and our assumptions about how much we think we can charge, how much people will pay for, and it's all based on internal stuff. It's not outside market stuff. Great, Karen, great, Danish kroner. Lisa, my most expensive room is the first to book up. Yeah, it's true, actually. I've heard that so many times. So many times. People just keep booking. And you know, it's easy. Antoinette, hello, I'm going to raise mine now by 15%. Good for you. Good for you. Well done. you know, everyone can think, everybody, it's easy to think, you know, oh, well, you know, people are struggling for money, the prices, everything's going up, cost of living is going up, nobody's got any money. It's easy to fall into that if you watch the mainstream news. I suggest you don't watch that. Don't watch it, because it's all fear-mongering, and it puts the fear of God in us, doesn't it? And we can't operate, you know, from a place of strength and certainty and positivity when we're bombarded with messages from, you know, the media about the cost of living. Sure, the cost of living has gone up for many people, but there's still plenty of people around with money. Tons of people around with money. Everybody who works for the government never lost their salary, they never lost anything. Plenty of people work in businesses that did really, really well during the COVID pandemic. Some businesses did exceptionally well. They had their best years ever. And there are people working for those businesses as employees of those companies who received exceptional bonuses, you know, and they have money to spend in their pockets. And we can go down the road of, you know, oh, well, nobody's got any money and the cost of living, all of that. It's not helpful, because it's simply not true. There's always people who are benefiting from the current situation, whatever that is, right? Antoinette, hello Antoinette from Jamaica, nice to see you. Yes, Karen, well done. I've changed my name from B&B to a farm vacation for families, and already in one day bookings came in. It's incredible, isn't it? You've just got to be a little bit brave. Step into your king or queen energy and be brave about this. You know, this is your business. This is what you're putting your life force into. You don't want to be selling yourself short at all. And, you know, doubling your rates or increasing your rates substantially, even by more than 15%. You know, I challenge you to raise them by 15% again next month or next week. Yes, people want to travel and want to experience what we have to offer. Absolutely they do. Absolutely. And, you know, with everything that's been going on in the last couple of years as well, you know, small B&Bs that offer that intimate experience with, you know, people, keeping people safe and allowing a large degree of privacy once they're installed, is really in demand right now. Who wants to go to a chain hotel where you don't know what they've done, you don't know who's been sleeping in that bed? You know, they're churning people over, right? It's about churn, it's about volume and bookings at any rate, and they're on all the OTAs. That's not your world. Stay out of that world as much as you can and stay in your own lane, where you're offering exceptional hospitality, you're the king and queen of your domain, and you charge accordingly, even with a little bit of tension in the beginning. All right, makes sense? Okay, let me just check my notes to make sure I've covered everything I want to cover, and then I will let you get on your way, unless you have more questions. Yeah, how high can you go is my last question, and I think we've covered that. The truth is, we just don't know, and it's all about test, 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 and test again, and always be moving slightly out of your comfort zone so that you can allow your subconscious mind to grow and expand, and it will catch up with you as long as you can handle the tension and you can sit with it and do not justify anything. You've no need. You're perfectly fine, perfectly all right, and perfectly enough in everything that you do. All right, so anybody have any more comments or questions they want to ask before I end this live stream? Hope it's been helpful for you. Just let me know, and I'm going to close it off now, and I'll come back and answer your questions later. Just to let you know that we do have Lisa, I charge $220 a night. Fogo Island, I've heard of Fogo Island Inn, charges $3,000 a night. Whoa. Wow, Lisa. Sitting on a gold mine there, girl. I dare you to go to $500 a night. Huh? Interesting. Isn't that interesting? So interesting. So, I have a couple of spots on my B&B Moneymaker program. It's a 12-month coaching and mentoring program where we take you through all of this and more so that you have a completely systemized and targeted niche business for your guests that brings you in money, assures you of your own security, financial security, and creates a happy, thriving B&B. If you'd like to know more about that, I have a couple of spots on it. I'm taking a couple of clients next week from May. So if you want to join me on that, or you'd like to find out more about that, then send me a private message or just put yes in the comments below if you want to know more about that. And if there's no more questions, I will leave it here. Okay, lovely. Thanks for your time. Lovely to be with you, and I'll see you again soon.